Okay, thanks, Peter. Okay, so expose your home to the public. We have how many ways so far?
4.
4. Give me a couple more. Now remember, I'm a seller asking you, why should I list with you? What are you going to do to, what do you say, Rishi?
You put on websites like Kijiji, Craigslist.
Put it on the internet, right? So you notice I'm kind of giving you kind of like the vague description. When you're saying we put it on social media, you might want to tell them, don't put Facebook on here or Twitter on here, just put social media. And then tell me, you can tell me, because I'm curious, I'm a seller and I'm curious, well, what kind of social media?
Facebook.
Facebook, will you do that? Okay, great. And I might say you boost it too?
Yeah.
Better say yes.
Yes.
And what else did you? What else social media? I'm really curious about that. What else?
Instagram.
Instagram, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
You get lots of people with that one?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, what else?
TikTok.
Oh, TikTok, excellent, okay, and then they may be, that's enough they need to hear, but they may want to know, do you do Twitter too? Or do you do LinkedIn? Or do you do, and they may ask you. So you better be prepared, okay, so you better check into all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we use the internet too. Oh, okay, so tell me how you advertise on the internet. Go ahead and tell me. Kijiji. Okay, so Kijiji, do you pay? So do you boost it so it stays on top?
Yes.
You know, and if you don't, and you say you do, and then you don't,
Oh yeah.
right? So I would probably invest at least $50 every time I list a house, put it on Kijiji, pay $50. That's what I would do. It's part of my marketing plan. I would even tell them, yeah, I pay a little extra. Okay, and you should also use Craigslist. Why? People from outside of this Alberta, like in the States and BC, only look on that. They don't even look on it, Kijiji. So I do both. And somebody said YouTube, which is a really big, it's one of the biggest ones, and you can repost that on Facebook and put it on your social media. But what else is on the internet that you guys advertise on? I'm just curious.
Website.
Yeah, you got your own website? Good. Yeah, your company website?
Yeah.
And Google, some sort of Google thing, yeah, so you just tell them. So this is just to trigger you to let them know all the things, and if you can't remember, then you better have them written down somewhere else. Okay, what else do we do? We do more than just these 5 things. What else do you do? So, I know it's kind of quiet because most of you are new, I get that, so that's okay. But just think about it for a second.
You can go door knocking like the door.
Yeah, you
Door
can do some
hangers.
proactive prospecting.
Postcards.
Proactive, right, prospecting, and you just, that there, so what you do is you say to them, when I list your property, I still go and introduce myself to the neighbors. I usually do about 20 to 40 homes. I door knock, I hand out the highlight sheet, and when we do the open house, I also go around and hand out the highlight sheet with putting an open house date and time so we get more traffic. And sometimes they're wondering, why would we want the neighbors to know? They're not going to buy it. No, but they might know somebody who wants to buy it. They might. So, you know, how many buyers do we need?
One.
So, I mean, this is me asking the seller. They go, oh, just one. Yeah, well, it could be two blocks away. Somebody in that house knows somebody that wants to live in this neighborhood. You know, I didn't want to find out. So what else could we do? We got target marketing. How do we let people know that the house is for sale through without actually door knocking?
Postcard.
Yeah, that's a just listed postcard, right? That's target marketing. So you tell them we're going to send out a postcard. Remember I taught you last week, use the LCO and send out 200 to 400. Do that for every listing and it'll pay off. Do it all the time. Anything else you can do to make sure that the general public knows it's for sale?
Newspaper.
So you got print advertising if there's something that works, but if you don't want to do it, don't put it in here at least. But what you should do is still know what's available in case they ask. So like think about this. Imagine if there was a realtor that didn't want to use print advertising, didn't even check to see what the costs were or nothing, and all of a sudden a seller says, well, we want to make sure that we are in the local paper. Even though today hardly anybody really looks at it unless they look at it online. Doesn't matter what you think. Remember, the customer is always
Right.
even if they're
Wrong.
wrong. So how much is it gonna cost me for you to put it in the paper, or how much does it cost, or can you put me in the paper? So you're the only one that needs to know the cost, right? But you should check it out, you should at least know. I personally think that Homes and Land is a great magazine, you should check out their prices. And if you have Homes and Land, it's the best magazine out there, still, it works and everything, right? So if you, instead of putting print advertising, you would just put Homes and Land there. You would see, I use Homes and Land. If you go take and look at Homes and Land, if you go online and look at it, they also, they do print advertising where it's a magazine you get, but all that goes online as well. It all goes online. And it actually helps generate leads as well. It's another lead generating system. So, if you had about 8 listings, you could order a half page, let's say, from Homes and Land. I think it's around $500 a month. And then they put it online as well. And if you take the magazine, listen up carefully to this, if you take the magazine with you on your listing appointments and you say there's still one form of print advertising that works really good, and you pull out that magazine and show them, they would be extremely impressed. Go ahead and look at that magazine. And even if you didn't get any leads off it, it would probably help you to get more listings.
Yes, I did that.
Yeah, you did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
So don't forget. In fact, go to the last page of today's lesson and tell me how many activities you have on your sheet there. Make it 12. And put Google Homes and Land, or look at Homes and Land's website. Okay? I want you all to look at it. Report back to me next week. Yeah? Question? Oh, okay. Can we come up with 2 more on how to market to the public? So we got signage. Let me see here. I'm just going to pull back here a bit. Take a look. So we have Realtor.ca, open houses, signage, social media, internet, proactive prospecting, target marketing, Homes and Land.
What's it on like the
I
radio?
know there's 2 more.
Radio advertising?
Yeah, you could do radio and TV.
Yes.
Put it on there if you actually do it. And if you have an agreement. Whoa, I know what it is. Your newsletter. Now, when you go with DMS Marketing for the Minimag newsletter, they'll put an insert in there of all your new listings for free. They might charge you for the print, but they'll put it in there for free. Okay, so can we come up with 1 more? Radio. I think you made email people, right? You may have text service. You may have, you got your website for internet, your website, okay, so email or texting people, you may have a email broadcast you can send out to people in your, like on your website. Some websites, you can gather people's contact info and put it in and you can send out a message to all of them at once. For your open houses, you have that on your website probably?
KV Core, yep.
KV Core has that.
Yes.
Real Estate Webmasters has it, you know, stuff like that. Okay, so what page are we on right now? About?
7 or 8.
Yeah, so we got page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so yeah, about 7 pages. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to make sure you put your listing presentation together. I'd like to see some samples next week. Right? So let's go to the next one, which is another page. And the only reason you might have to do a page is because you're putting down the items, the ingredients that you use to, you know, notify the realtors or to notify the public. What's the next one?
Separate.
So how do we separate the locals from the buyers, right? So you also say, did I spell that right? Yeah. Okay, so we should be able to come up with at least 5. Okay, so when you turn the page, you've already told them we might get a buyer from any number of these marketing ideas to the public and to the realtors, anywhere it could come, okay? Then, once we do have a buyer, if we have it ourselves, you have to explain to them, say, so how do we get a buyer? They might call the yard sign, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay, and what do we do first?
We have to pre-qualify or pre.
What do we do?
Pre-qualify.
Well, actually we do this first. don't we?
Call from-
If you don't use your call form, you're gonna be behind the game a bit here, okay? So what you wanna do is to say, so when a buyer calls us on one of our yard signs or any of our marketing, look at the page before. All of the, well, not the page, like the page in your manual, I mean, what am I trying to say? Number 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, look at, expose it to the public. We get people coming to us. They may wanna buy your house, or they may want us to show them other stuff, we don't know. But what we do is we use a call form to figure out, you know, if they're buyers, if they're renters, if they're working with another realtor, we do that, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then at the end, when we're finishing up with our call form, what do we do? Book, a what?
Face to face.
Book an appointment. At your office, you'd say. And this is how we separate looks from the buyer. So I just want to let you know, if somebody calls and says, I want to see this property, can you meet me there? I'm going to say,
Can we meet? Better we meet at the office.
I'm going to say no. Can you guys all say that? Can you meet me at the property?
No.
No, let's just meet at the office. I'm just saying the first word is no. Let's do this. I don't mind. I've got some time where I can meet you in my office. While we're there, and we went over all this. Like, I don't want to reteach it. We said, while you're there, we can cross-reference your criteria with everything in the area, right? Make you a preferred client. We can go over the process, and I got some time. I can see you when? Thursday, or would Friday be better? It's just simple as that. If they won't meet you at the office, what do you do with them? Done.
Yeah.
And you're gonna let the sellers know this. So when somebody calls, I use my call form, then I offer to meet them at my office, and we have a buyer process. And I'll get them, after you book the appointment, before you meet them, what do? Pre-approval gets started and completed before they come, hopefully. We went over all this, right? To some degree, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, they call us, we gather information, we book an appointment, we get the pre-approval process started. Then we get them to sign at the appointment,
Buyers.
buyer's agency, right? Then we set up showings. Pretty well, Ed, hey? Sounds good?
Yes.
Yeah, so, but you tell them, you gotta let them know, we separate looks and buys. So if I have a buyer, they're pre-approved for a mortgage, they will become a customer to me, even though, now, how do you get buyer agency signed and still show your own property in this province? Can they be a client if you're representing the sellers?
No.
No, they can't. You have to make them a what?
Customer.
So, how many of you had buyer agency signed yet? Do you know what the form looks like at least? How many pages is it?
4. 5.
Well, 5, then this one.
5.
In there, there's a spot where you would put, they want you to help them find a property in the greater Calgary area, excluding, and you exclude a certain address. And for that one, you get a customer agreement signed. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, then we gotta go to the next one. And we say, we're gonna professionally, I've seen somebody that's on their phone, I'm not gonna say their name, but you know who you are. So you know. Okay. Professionally show the features of your home. Says of your home. Let's see if we can just at least come up with 5 again, okay? So what page have we got now, and how big is your presentation now? 9 pages?
8.
Amy, you're cold?
Yeah.
And I'm boiling to death. I mean, it's hot. But she can't, that's the tough part, you know, it's like the heater's blowing, I mean, there's no heater above her.
I know.
And it's just right above me, perfect, right? I guess we should have had to turn it, I'm over there. But I can feel it, I'm pretty warm. So, how do we professionally show the features of their home? I think what we're talking about is, what is it, how do we make it look good when people come in? So, first thing you do is you say, we're gonna do a consultation with you. Okay, so you'll tell them this, you haven't got the listing yet. You're on step 3. In the fourth part of step 3, and you're saying the next step, or the next part, is we're going to professionally show the features of your home. So after we've put it on the market, I want to come back and see you and do a consultation on how to make the home more showable. So make a note of that, okay? How to make the home more what?
Showable.
Okay, I hope you wrote that down, because you won't say it if you don't. So we're going to do a consultation to what?
Make the
home
home
more
More showable. And in the consultation, that stain there, now, right now you're not going to say what I'm about to say. But when you do the consultation, it's after you get the listing. So here you're telling them, after we list the property, I'm going to come back, we're going to do a consultation, we're going to go through the house to make it more showable. And you can make a couple more notes. You can also let them know how staging works. Okay? Staging. Give me an example of staging. Anybody heard of staging?
Furniture, paintings,
Yeah.
art.
So you could verbally consult them on how to remove clutter, how to move around some furniture, space things out to make it seem bigger. Or if it's a vacant property, you could introduce them to a home staging company. If it's an upper end property and they want to put some fancier stuff in some rooms or something, you can introduce them to a home staging company as well. Okay. Does the realtor pay for that?
No.
Absolutely not. Remember this, you don't ever pay for anything at all, except maybe that measuring company in the beginning, okay? You don't pay for nothing else, and you never cut your commissions. Okay? So, we want to highlight any benefits. And you put that in a number of ways. You can make a new highlight sheet. You ever seen where there's a stand inside of a home? And you see nice colorful brochures? Where do you think they get those from? Do you like a good tip?
Yes.
One of the best ways to get it is find a really good mortgage broker. Maybe that guy here can do this, but let him know if you're not sure if he does. But I've seen a lot of mortgage brokers. They'll actually make, if you send them the MLS number, they'll make a highlight sheet with you and them on it with the amortization on the bottom. And you can print a bunch of those off and put them in the stand in your listing. So check to see if your mortgage broker will do that. And you just, you're promoting him as well as he's helping you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Professionally showing the features of your home. And then we want to encourage offers. That's the last one there, I think. We just let them know that this is when there's showings. Okay? So professionally, we'll just put that in there for now, okay? So professionally showing the features. So in the showings, you're pointing out things. So you know when you just showed me around the property, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, and you pointed out the features? I'm going to be doing that as well. Point out the features. They'll have a highlight sheet. We're going to make sure we consult you to make sure it's staged properly. So there's those there. And the next one is number 5. Oh, it's already 2 o'clock. Let's see how far I got to go for. Oh, just a few more things and then a role play, and then we'll take a really quick break. You know, it'd be enough to do whatever you got to do, and then we'll wrap up on time, hopefully. So, professionally show the features of your home. And we've got 5 ways to do that. Would you like to know what they are? And they'll probably say what?
Yes.
No, I don't want to hear it. Say, okay, well, I just want to let you know we do a really good job at that. So go on to the next page. They say, like what? You say, well, after, we're going to do a consultation. Make sure the home is more showable. And we'll introduce to you a little bit about staging. Like some stuff you might be able to just do yourself. You know, or if it's vacant, you might say there may be a few things you want to consider. Home staging does work, just so you know. But if they do want to fill up a vacant property for, it might cost them $1,000 or $2,000, and that's, they need to pay for that, okay? And then, you know, when we're showing the property, we're going to highlight all the benefits. They're going to be on the highlight sheet. And when we're doing the showings, we're going to point out things you mentioned to me, and we're going to encourage offers. Any questions? And they'll go, no, that sounds great. Just think of the value. When you did number 1, when you list with us, it's like listing with all the realtors in the city. Wow. When we expose the home to the public, we're doing 10 things. Most realtors are doing 1. we're doing 10, right? And then to separate liquors from the buyers, if we go back to that for a second, take a look at it. You qualify everybody, yes? But you want to tell them this too. If you want to make a note of this somewhere, but you say when another realtor calls, and this is starting to happen a lot, we're going to ask them if they're pre-approved. In fact, I'd like you to consider putting in the private comments that all realtors must show pre-approval before OTP. What is OTP?
Offer to purchase.
Yeah, and a lot of realtors are starting to put that in their comments now. I see it a lot more. In fact, some of them are putting must have pre-approval before showings in the private comments.
OTP.
Did you see that yet?
Sorry?
Must have pre-approval before showings.
Yes.
Seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. I hope you do it. If I can make it change from the inside out just for my students and say, never cut your commissions, always do this, always do that, put in that everybody has to prove they're pre-approved before you do showings, then at least we're starting to get somewhere with this business because there's so much unprofessionalism. Okay, so back on, what's the last one?
Handle all the details
Handle all the details.
and negotiate.
So what page are we on now?
Right.
Handle all the details and negotiate. I'll just put that negotiate. Negotiate. Okay, so when a realtor, you want to tell them, when a realtor has an offer, what's the first thing you guys do? Like the realtor sent you the offer. What's the first thing you do? You look in your inbox. Oh, we got an offer on the house. What do?
Check the details.
Check the details, yeah. What else? You check the details, now what do?
Present.
Check
Present
it.
and seller.
Call the seller.
Yes.
Yeah, you might even call the realtor to say, I want to go over it with you.
Yes.
Okay, so when we get an offer, we're gonna, just trying to think of the words you could do here, so. Well, you might just tell them, instead of having it on here, that when we get an offer, I just go over with the other realtor, and then I'll call you to present, okay? So we will, confirm, tell them that you're gonna confirm. Oh, shoot. When you get an offer, you're gonna confirm what again?
Confirm the
Confirm
offer is
receipt,
valid and
receipt.
details.
And then present. Okay, does that make sense? So when we get an offer, we'll just confirm with the other realtor that they're pre-approved for a mortgage, and then we'll call you and see when we can present. Now between you and me, there's a number of ways to present. The best way to present always, and it'll never change, is in person. Like it or not, it's the best way. Why? Usually, if the other realtor, this best way would be if the other realtor came over to the property and came in and presented it with you and your seller together, and then he left and went out in his car with his buyers in the car. That would be the best way. Even though nobody does it that way anymore, I still want to let you know that is the best way. Because think about this. Imagine if a realtor comes in and you're sitting with your sellers. This is the way we used to always do it, by the way, for like a century. Up until just not that long ago. And they come in and present, and that's great for multiple offers, especially for the lowball guys. You get a guy who calls and says, I sent you an offer, you look at it, the house listed at $800,000, he's offering $700,000. You're like, what? He wants me to go over there and piss off my sellers? I don't think so. When do you want to present? Oh, I don't want to. Well, I'm not presenting this. Well, you have to. Well, no, you have to. You wrote it. That's what I would say. You can go over there. I'm going to go call my sellers. You can come over and piss them off. That's what I would do. Do you guys feel the same way when it's a lowball offer?
Yeah.
Yep. Because once it's written, it has to be presented. So you present it. I'm not pointing at you. I'm pointing at them. So anyways, most of the time, you might get a reasonable offer, and you'll say, I'll confirm that they're pre-approved. I'll call you, and then if you don't mind, I'd like to just come over and sit down. We'll have coffee and we'll go over it. That's the best way. The next best way is you just email it to them and you talk to them on the phone, or Zoom would even be better. But it's very common for people, unfortunately, to just always email and talk on the phone. And because of that, there's more deals never coming together or falling apart than ever in history. Now, ever in history, it's worse than ever. Doesn't that sound kind of a shame? Yeah. So if you can do it in person, I hope you do. I'd be very proud of you too. anyways, you go over it, you present the offer, right? And now what do you do if they accept the offer? What do? You gotta tell them, because if they accept it, there's probably conditions, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then you gotta go over the conditions, and they gotta get removed, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so what does a listing agent do to make sure the conditions get removed? Any idea? We can help all the new people so they know? What does a listing agent do to make sure the conditions get removed?
Follow up?
Follow up.
Follow up with the buying agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Soon as it's firmed up, you say, when do you want to book the home inspection?
Yes.
Okay, and I would remind them, now that it's firmed up, make sure you send it into the mortgage broker, and as soon as you hear, send in the condition removal for me, okay? If you assume that they're gonna take care of everything, you will be in a huge shock. About 80%, no, let's say, just to be more lenient on the industry, 60%, they write offers, they don't do nothing after.
Yes.
They're calling you the day before saying, I need to extend it, I haven't gotten around to anything yet. It's like, what? What are you doing? Seriously, you gotta really be on it as a listing agent. It sounds like a real shame, but you have to. And if you're a listing agent trying to do 50 deals a year, you gotta really be on the other one. Hopefully you double end it, have the best agent in town bringing you an offer, which is yourself. Okay, so after the conditions are removed, what do? Well, you just want to let them know that you follow through to closing. And 5, you have a follow-up program with them. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you guys. Okay, so you're going to list my house, right? I'm talking to all of you as if you're one Mr. and Mrs. Seller. You're going to list my house. You're going to notify all the realtors.
Yes.
Yes.
You're going to do maximum marketing.
Yes.
So we can never know, okay, I like this. And you're gonna make sure that all buyers that come into my house are pre-approved?
Yes.
Okay, now you would be telling them, the seller would say, yeah, I want that. See, when they want something and you're offering it, they'll sign, and they won't ask you to cut your commissions. It very rarely happens the other way. Okay, so, then you're gonna show me how to stage my house and everything? Like just what to do and everything?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, and when we get an offer, you'll be presenting it to me, so I don't have to worry about nothing, you'll show me how I can walk through everything?
Yes.
Yeah, and you'll take care of everything with the other agent?
Yes.
Okay, and then, when the day comes that we move, right, we'll just be moving, the other people will probably take possession, then we just get our money, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you follow up with, that means with the lawyer and everything, right? Right, and then, and you're gonna keep in touch with me after that?
Yes.
How do you do that?
Newsletters?
Newsletters.
There it is. That's the most important thing you could ever do with any of your clients. What kind of newsletter?
Market updates.
Market stats.
Mailer.
Oh.
Don't say email. Doesn't work, or it hardly works, okay? You should still do it, yeah, because it's cheap and nobody looks at it. Mailer. How else do you follow up with people? You send them the mailer and that's it? And you just hope they call you?
No.
You just hope I call you by seeing your mailer, or do you do anything else?
Phone call.
Calling you.
Call them.
Call me once in a while? Oh, great, we get to talk to you. What else do you do?
Coffee.
Hmm?
Go for a coffee.
Coffee.
Go for a coffee or our client appreciation events. So hopefully you guys wrote all that down, you know what to do and all that kind of stuff, right? So, and then you say this, you got another page. And that other page will say that. So, I just want to let you know it all begins with our relationship. So can we put this to work for you today? Is there a spot for you to write that there?
Yes.
Okay. What page? Everyone found the page? So what page? How many pages do we have here? We got
9.
sales process, 2 pages for questions. Preview the property, that's 4. Marketing cover page, 5. Then 5 areas, that's 10. Then this page, that's 11. We're on page 11 now. Are you guys all with me? It's the same page?
Yes.
11 pages you should have. And yes, for next week. Why by next week?
Because
Because you might book an appointment, you need it. You want to have this when you go, don't you?
Yes.
So you should be working on this tonight. You should be working on it. If I ever say to you, work on something until it's done, I hardly ever do that. I always say do bits and pieces, except this time. You should be right on it. Get every page done, because you could be on an appointment tomorrow for all I know, or the next day. Right? So, I want to make sure Now, you know, if you want to put other reasons for people to list with you, you know, you could tell them maybe, here, I'll give you a couple things you can write down. What's some other reasons that people should list with you? Well, you know, a past customer could probably list with you, right? But you can let them know that you get referrals. That you have referrals come in, and if it matches their listing, you're gonna, you know, we have past clients that give us referrals. We have, you know, some of the companies actually are recognized and and people phone them just out of the yellow pages or off the internet. And there could be extra leads from the office. You can talk with Peter about that, okay? So that could be another reason. You could say, you know, we also get leads coming into our office, and every time I get a lead, I'll cross-reference with my own listing right away. I mean, you could say you do have national advertising with the company. If you don't, then you don't say that, okay? You could tell them you have marketing experience. So all that stuff I'm going to do, I have experience in that stuff, if that's possible. You could tell them, well, another reason to list with us, look at our market share in this neighborhood. It's at 15%. Market share, right? You can tell them about more systems you use, all your digital systems and online systems and stuff like that, and any extra services and products as well, okay? Why don't you do this? Tell them at the end when you say it all begins with our relationship, can we put this performance listing to work for you today? So add those two words in there somewhere. What did I call it?
Performing.
Performance listing. Write that one down. Okay? So it all begins with our relationship. Can we put this performance listing to work for you today? And they may say, what do you mean performance listing? Well, I'm going to be performing every single thing I mentioned to you. I do all this stuff I'm constantly working on. I don't just list and move on. I have all the systems in place that are constantly working. Call it a performance listing if you write that down, okay? Okay, so with a performance listing, maybe write this down too, that you will give them a weekly update. So if you just write down again on the blank piece of paper to the left, performance listing, and the performance listing is a weekly update on all the proactive activities you did and all the calls that came in from realtors. I'll just black this out so you guys know I'm not talking about that. Okay, I'm just giving you more. Like, I didn't always say performance listing in my training for 20 years. I just thought of it a couple of years ago, and I thought, that's a good thing to share. I mean, imagine if you said to them, it's good, it's a performance listing. So I do all this stuff, but what I do is each week I report into you. You know, most realtors don't do that. They just ignore the sellers. And the sellers say the number one reason why I don't list with the same guy again is I never heard from him at all when we were selling our house. Nothing. So for a performance listing, make sure you put down that you're going to call them and or email them an update on all the activities you did proactively and all the calls you got and all the input you got from the showings and stuff like that. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. Also, when you first list a property, you want to make sure that they get a copy of all the advertising.